leaving the East Humboldts behind in the town of Wells. Pretty glad to be getting out of town on this one. There's really not much to this town. It's just a stop along Interstate 80. It's a giant truck stop, really. But unfortunately, today's going to be probably the worst walk along the whole Basin and Range Trail. It's about 20 miles that parallels Interstate 80. And it's just part of doing a long distance hike. You know, there's just sections of trail that need to exist to connect one interesting place to another. So as I'm walking out of town, there's another guy walking down the road. He sees me and he says, hey man, come here for a second. I'm like, okay. And what's up, man? How you doing? And he says, hey, I got this extra salad if you want it. And as I got a little bit closer, he says, looks like you're, you know, fairly well off. You're, you know, he's thinking I'm homeless, basically. So that was the first time I got mistaken for a homeless person on this trail. Choo choo.
And all this now is what's called checkerboard land. And back in the 1800s, the U.S. government would give railroad companies a land subsidy in exchange for building new track, which extended 6 to 40 miles on both sides of the corridor. The U.S. government kept every other parcel of land, though, and now we're left with this checkerboard pattern of public and private land. And checkerboard land is a real pain for the hiker because every other parcel is technically trespassing. Although it seems logical to just cross where the corners of the public land parcels meet, this isn't exactly legal. So basically, it's just not worth walking through if it can be avoided.
They're circling around there to land. The Wells International Airport. Flights direct to Tokyo, London. Today's one of those days you feel like you're just never gonna get back in your life, you know? It's just kind of a wasted day. Walking this road all day, nothing to see. I'm a zombie cow. Yeah, you don't know what to make of that, huh? Boy, you look delicious. You just sit there and tenderize yourself, all right? Here's like a ranch or something, entrance to a ranch. Nice to get this race dumpster. This looks pretty fast. There's definitely quite a bit of sand in the shoes now. Dang, that's a dust devil right there. That thing just a second ago was as wide as the road. I thought a car was coming and it just literally looked like a full tornado. And that there is first view at the Pequop Range, or Pequops as I called it for quite a while until I was corrected several times. And I should be able to make my way up the range a little bit this evening and hopefully have a halfway decent campsite with the view and maybe even get away from the freeway a little bit. So I heard a saying recently, if people don't laugh at your dreams, you didn't dream big enough. I really like that. You know, I told my friends and family, you know, what I planned on doing, and, you know, they all thought I was crazy. So to me, that was kind of confirmation, like, I'm on the right track. I'm doing something big, something that feels right, that feels good, that'll stay with me for the rest of my life. So I kind of try and remind myself of things like that on days like today where, you know, in the moment it's not really exciting, it's not all that great, but you remind yourself of the larger goal, you know, and what you're doing. I'm ready for a lunch break now, but man, there's no shade anywhere. So there's an exit on the freeway coming up here in about a half mile, and I see this sign, prison area, hitchhiking prohibited. It's probably not going to look very good for me to just be hanging around right outside of prison. Here we go, here's a little bit of shade. Good enough for me. And one thing I like about through hiking is kind of forces you to see the world in a different way. You see this little box here, you know, just by the road, and as a hiker I think, oh, that's shade and I can stop here, and that's, you know, good break spot. And you know, for anybody else it's like, what's that weirdo doing? So I'm kind of leaving like this main road now and onto this secondary road. So here's this building right along the highway. Looks pretty abandoned to me. I was hoping there might be a water spigot or something. I don't see anything. What? Got this outhouse here. No door. Getting quite a bit closer to the Pequops now. I still gotta follow the road up to the top of the pass, and then that's how I make my entry up into the mountains. Just catching a break here and getting out of the sun for a minute. Man, is it hot. So is my water. It's like boiling hot. My water's gotta be 110 degrees. I don't even want to drink it, it's so hot. And the challenge of this section is going to be the heat and the lack of water. It's in the mid-90s right now, and it's going to be long water carries. So the road I was on ended, and now I've got to hike a couple miles off trail here to get to the next road. Oh, well, never mind, I'm in luck. There is a road. Get to avoid the, you know, the football training camp style, you know, high step exercise going over all these sagebrush. So now the canyon narrows here and the road has disappeared once again, so off trail, and just have to go like a mile or two and then I should connect to another dirt road. Following this fence line is becoming a real pain in the ass. You can just see how narrow it gets here. This is pretty awkward. It's kind of a weird position to be in. Oh yeah, this is super awkward. It's gonna kind of like funnel me into this fence and like wedge me in there. Climb the fence, I guess, if the thing don't fall over on me. Super awkward. There's some sort of game path though. It's a hiking trail. And this is a little canyon where I meet up with my road again. Gotta climb up a couple hundred feet, go over a small little pass. To be honest, I'm having a really hard time finishing out the day. Just really tired. I don't know what it is, just whooped. Maybe, I guess it's the heat today. And normally the heat doesn't affect me this bad. So now it's time to leave this main road onto this secondary 4x4 road here. Hopefully this thing doesn't peter out. This is what I need to follow to get to my water source. That is just a gorgeous view. A little bit of clouds now, so you kind of get like the play of shadows on the distant mountains. It's cooling off a little bit. It's a little bit more pleasant. Almost at the water source, potential water source. I'm so tired. Today's one of those days you just can't wait for it to be over and just start over and, you know, hope you feel better the next day. Just whooped, man. Absolutely whooped. Legs are tired, I'm thirsty, getting hungry now. I barely ate today. rough day. Tomorrow will be better. There's a big pond down there, so I definitely have water. Sure, it's gonna be nasty though. I don't see any cattle or anything down there, but I mean, anything that big, you can bet it's just full of shit, basically. Yeah, it's quite steep. Just moments away from water. Oh man, it's swampy though. It's gonna be hard to get to. Yeah, that is swampy. Yeah, and this is as close as I can get. It's just, you can't really get anything out of it like this. How you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
Good. I sure didn't expect to see you out here. There's mountain bikers, but not too many hikers.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, are you with the mine or?
No, I'm just out here doing a hike.
Oh, just out doing a hike, huh?
Day 50. I started in Ely 50 days ago.
Are you
I'm
serious?
just doing a loop around Nevada, going back to Ely.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. My name's Kim, by the way.
Eric.
Eric, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, I have the ranch down there. I don't know if you passed it or not, but.
No, I came up from I-80 basically. I walked in from Wells today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You're welcome to come down to my ranch and camp out in our yard if you'd like. It's only about 2 miles directly down the canyon. Boy, that'd be fun to even hike with you. That'd be fun.
Heck yeah. Well, yeah, if you got nothing to do tomorrow, come out and join me.
Yeah.
Or the Goshutes, you know, even in a couple of days.
Yeah, I could maybe, if you camp out at our place, I could maybe hike with you a little ways and all. And
yeah, that sounds great.
yeah. In fact, if you'd want to, I haven't eaten yet either, so you're welcome to eat at our place too.
Okay.
So
Sounds good. Well, I'll get walking then, and
yeah. Okay, sounds good.
all right. Well, thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. You know, I was moments away from filtering swamp water, and now I've got a nice solid place to camp for the night. Good clean water, and even a meal. So can't believe it. Now this is an unusual find. That's a snowboard, and we're in Nevada. I bet the rancher has the story behind that. Okay, so this is the entrance to the ranch. I love it. Mountain bikes welcome. Wow, what a beautiful property though. Can't imagine living somewhere like this, just having this as your view. Absolutely gorgeous. And you've been here 27 years, huh?
Yeah, all these fields here were covered in sagebrush, especially the one off to the right. That was the largest fire I ever had here. Flames maybe 30, 40 foot high. And I'm really fortunate I never had started a serious fire here. Because I really didn't know what I was doing at first.
What branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah. But your dad was on a destroyer in Vietnam. My dad was flying F-105s over Vietnam.
And what did you do in the Air Force?
What did I do in the Air Force?
Yeah.
I flew C-141s, which was a transport.
Oh, okay. So you were a pilot. That's awesome.
it's a good experience.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. Were you a pilot then after your time in the military, or did you retire? Did you?
Pilot for Delta Airlines after that, so I just retired.
We could hear them, and then all of a sudden, you know, we kind of got to a spot where the canopy broke, and they were just right overhead, doing these hard banking maneuvers and stuff. It was just the coolest thing to see, just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's kind of an era that's coming to the end. I mean, but I think there's still requirements of training dogfighting. Of course, fighter pilots love that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It was during the early developmental stages of the F-111, but they had this terrain following radar, and of course it was rather primitive at that time, so they flew right into the mountains here.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, you did?
I did. Somebody, when I was in Wells, there was the maintenance guy at the motel was saying, you know, I said, well, I'm going up into the Pequops next, and he said, yeah, I went up there, and we heard about the F-111 crash, and he said we looked for it, never found it.
It's been dead for a number of days. I've never seen that.
It's a hell of a place to just keel over and die right by the water, you know?
But you're right, it's kind of weird. I see this.
Yeah. He's jumping in the Guzzler.
I don't see. I would say
Yeah, there's really no.
no marks. I'd say he probably died of disease. My best guess. Water doesn't look all that appetizing, does it?
Not really, not especially not after the dogs are swimming in it.
Oh yeah, we'll have to.
Oh, you a water dog, huh? And you got this hunter's blind just feet away from the Guzzler. It's some very sportsmanlike hunting.
And I got in the car and went up to Stanley, camped out, hiked up the mountain, camped out, saw the solar eclipse.
Well, you were up there when I was then too. I was up in Stanley area. I was on Barren Lakes, Barren Pass.
What Stanley Lake?
Barren.
Barren? Yeah, I think I saw it on the map.
Man, what an amazing experience that was, huh?
That was, although the funny thing about it.
You guys have got your own Guzzler. Well, there's actually two more over here, but this one's actually really clear. That's not bad at all.
Not too bad.
No, you really lucked out with that one.
No, get out of here. Get out of here.
Go on.
Go on.
Shoot.
Get out of here. Get out of here. This trail is not on the map. I think this was like a horse trail or deer trail that we started riding.
So I just filled up with 7 liters of water from that Guzzler back there. But that's got to last me all the way into the Goshutes. This is a dry area. I was lucky to even find that Guzzler up there. Only found it because Kim knew it was there.
My son Daniel, he came from New York, and he's really an outdoor person. Here, and
Oh wow, yeah, you can really see it. I wouldn't have thought from here that that's debris from a plane crash. It just kind of looks like maybe a rock or something, or
yeah,
can't really tell.
yeah.
And that was an F-111?
Yeah, you know, and that's it's a large fighter bomber, but
So don't they come out and clean that stuff up, the military, or are they just more concerned about the major components?
they were mainly concerned about the secret back when it happened when, I'm guessing 69, but there's a plaque up here I posted. Kind of remote to get to, and they did come out and clean up all the classified stuff, but yeah, no, they never, of course they came up with the bodies and all. But no, yeah, they never did clean this off. And it would have been a pretty different, I mean, they didn't even have ATVs back then, so it would have been a difficult undertaking.
There's supposed to be another one too. Another plane crash in the northern Pequops here. I don't know.
On the far side, I found the landing gear, and it said, I think it was for a different airplane and all. And down in the valley, I was exploring one day and found some landing gear. I didn't find anything else related to that crash. I really couldn't say what it was, but I could find information. And all of a sudden, the hoodie on the right side of it, so we ignored the instructions. Kind of barely subsiding, and then you have some extra drive.
This is the first bits of debris here. Wow. Hatch assembly, counterpoise assembly, their hatch assembly. Wow, this thing actually still, you can operate it with the handle still. It's not all gunked up, you know. It's crazy just to see this kind of stuff just still laying here. Yeah. Just right here. Yeah, it just started coming down.
I didn't see it. I hope it didn't blow away, but came back because it was raining pretty good. But
yeah, wait this out a minute.
What part of the airplane this, is part of, or what it did? I mean, a lot of aviation, especially in mountains, a lot of times a plane will just make a hole in the mountain. And this is scattered like it skipped or something. It hit extremely hard. But my thinking is the reason the parts are scattered so much is that the terrain following radar made an attempt at pulling up, and so it kind of hit, and because it wasn't going straight into the mountain, just kind of scattered parts all over here, and then they're even scattered on the far side of the ridge there.
Yeah.
So the tail was up here. Let's see if I can find it. This looks like some sort of control surface, maybe a flap or aileron.
Job and Fouclou.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little American flag here. Wow, that's crazy to see. Just the entire tail.
Yeah, so this would be part of the engine. They had two engines on either side. Whether or not it's part of the turbine section or compression, intake section, I don't know. But
between what the military would have taken and just people taking over the years, you'd think there'd be very little left for a, 50-year-old crash?
Yeah.
Part of like a radiator type piece here.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the part you kind of ride over?
Yeah, you almost have to, you can't help but think of them when you come on your motorbike ride, because you have to almost ride over parts of it.
Yeah.
This had to do with the weaponry. Of course, that terrain following radar required a lot of electronics too. I mean, it'd be bizarre if you were looking at the piece that kind of failed or let them down.
Well, you'd think they would have found that one and wanted to take that back.
Yeah, that would be part of their accident investigation.
Yeah.
And all.
Yeah, it's nuts looking at a 50-year-old circuit board, really, of any kind.
Yeah.
Watch yourself.
Watch out, Jack.
Danger. And it's BLE. I can't read that. I don't know what the rest of it.
Hey.
Oh, probably flammable or something. Oh, you know what? This might be the, you know, where they put fuel in, maybe?
Yeah.
If it says flammable.
Yeah, this looks like part of the fuselage.
And here's camp for the night. Got ourselves a nice little spot protected by this tree. Nice little cliffside view here. Wow, so an M61 Vulcan Gatling gun from the F-111 fighter jet that crashed on the other side of the ridge. That's just crazy to see. I'm getting licked to death by this guy. Yeah, wow. Well, you were right. I mean, you came right up to it without, I mean, you were right on where you thought it was.
Oh, I haven't been here in 10 years. It's just amazing.
My original plan was to cut east across the valley from here over to the Goshute Range. But one of Kem's dogs laid down on my tent this morning, and the cord used to stake down the tent ripped off. So now with the broken tent, I think it makes sense to follow Kem back to his ranch where we can use his sewing machine to repair it. After that, I don't know.
You know, he had eaten so much metal and his skull was to eat a car. And it's like a Life magazine or something like that. I don't know if anybody actually parts of the country, world also has really been a decent wage and
Awesome views though. You get the ridgeline over there and I guess the northern Goshutes then. Yeah, and that's what the trail was named after, is that character, yeah.
The only reason I'd want to try it is
On my CDT hike, I felt like that was more of a personal challenge, and you know, you're kind of just sticking to this goal of doing the hike, but you know, meeting people like you and just, you know, just it's incredibly generous, you know, for you to offer to take me in for a night and you know, to kind of change up my plans and just do this, you know, a little bit of a hike on a whim and things like that. And to me, that's a little bit more interesting, I think, than just sticking to this, you know, whatever route you've planned ahead of time, you know. And you know, I've had some other experiences like that on this trail, and yeah, it's kind of changed my mindset on what I want out of hiking. I'm not sure where it's going to lead me. I feel like this hike has sort of changed me a little bit in that way. So
well, it's kind of a win-win situation for you and I because you know, it's not really typical. It's really not typical for you to do what you're doing, but you know, we get so few people out visiting. With you, I've been anxious to get out and start hiking, so this is just a good excuse to do it. Yeah, it's kind of worked out well for both of us.
yeah, well, I'm really glad we bumped into each other, and this is kind of the thing that I think at the end of the day you remember a little bit more than, like I said, just kind of trudging through some valley to prove to yourself whatever you need to prove to yourself. But of course, you know, there's some great, you know, great hiking to it too, but you got to have some variety, I think, is the lesson that I kind of take away from it.
Yeah.
So this is the largest juniper tree in Nevada.
Yes. You get so many points for the circumference and so many points for the height and so many points for how wide the crown is. And I submitted those measurements, but somebody came out and remeasured before I got the actual record. It's kind of a beautiful tree, isn't it?
Yeah, just needs a plaque.
Yeah, it's kind of like overgrazing is and isn't a problem. I mean, they do manage it pretty well, but there is some damage.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, hey, I've been on a lot of these ranges now, and for me, it's one thing to be grazing down in the valley, and I've been really shocked to see how much grazing is done at high elevations. I've never seen it in any other state, any other place I've been in the West to this extent. It's just kind of sad to see it, up in those places.
Well, I have cows,
especially as a hiker.
Sad for me to see too. I mean, yeah, when you're expecting something pristine like that, and to get up there and see cow manure and all, I mean, that'd be pretty discouraging. We had more experience living in Michigan, but in the 5th game, I was just hoping to get through unscathed. This is kind of my favorite little places on this trail going down through here. It's kind of narrows down here and then widen out again, but
yeah, I was just gonna say, I can see why you like this trail. It's you feel very secluded and just kind of hemmed in here in this little canyon, and actually very wooded with these pines.
Yeah, I mean, nice view of the cliffs up there. Yeah, if you took a picture of...
Yeah, you're gonna snag on that. There you go.
Got me?
Yep.
Okay, let me get through and I'll hold it for you. You made it.
Okay, thank you. So what do you do with the llama?
Oh, nothing. It was Luis Perez was a neighboring rancher, and he's moving and asked me if I'd buy him, and I said, what am I going to do with a llama? And he says, well, you can eat them.
Well, they're good pack animals.
Yeah, in fact, I actually had we had one die here this past year, and I bought a llama saddle like the hike today, which if he was trained, you could have just left and carried as much weight as you want.
Yeah, they use llamas quite a bit in the Wind River Range as pack animals.
Yeah,
and this is cool. You've got this little rock formation here, and anything interesting with that, or?
No, it's a fascinating formation. The geologists don't even know what it is. I kind of think it's like a volcanic dike. You can see something sticking up over there, but it's got fossils in it. So one geologist said it's more like maybe a fossil reef. But we're right on an area of volcanic activity. I mean, if you look at the maps, this is like a fault zone and all. Well, what to drink? I like those Monster energy drinks, so we got Gatorade.
Got my tent all fixed up, and now Chem is giving me a ride across the valley over to the Goshute Range. He's going to join me for a couple hours today along the crest of the Goshutes before we part ways.
I know for a fact that, some of the wagon trains went right through the Silver Zone Pass, so this is probably another spur or some other way of getting back on the California Trail. This is what we're looking at right here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just pick your route up on this one. Small overhang, really. Yeah, really not much signs of anything. No burn marks on the walls or...
No, there's not, is there?
Not really.
Oh well.
You don't know unless you try. It's the Bonneville Salt Flats out there.
Yep.
We're sitting on Morgan Pass. Kim and I are about ready to tackle the Goshutes. And then there's the highest to lowest route. It goes from Mount Whitney to Death Valley, Badwater.
Oh yeah.
That seemed like a pretty cool route to do.
Any info on this? Was this somebody's abode or?
All I saw was this was on the satellite, and that was it.
Oh.
It says, clean up your shit, you dirty slobs. Beer bottles, some corn cobs.
Oh man.
Yeah, the roof collapsed from some nesting here from animals. Oscar was here.
But boy, this looks really jagged, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. And this kind of ridgeline doesn't even look like it's the kind that helps when it's a ridgeline. It's not a rocky ridgeline. It looks like it's just full of trees anyway. Yeah, you just kind of...
I just knocked my glasses off. Here they are.
Oh.
You spend so much time finding the route, and then the route just takes you through some dense grove of aspen. So, you know, then you just kind of try to find the best way through.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. After a couple of days of that, it gets old, and then you can imagine the weeks and months piling on of that, and then it just kind of wears on you mentally.
Yeah.
Nice. Absolutely, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I really appreciate everything you've done for me, and the hospitality and just the company. It has been great just having somebody to chat with, and
Yeah.
I feel like I learned a lot about the area. And
Yeah, and I learned some about the area. I mean, I was amazed at all the research you've done on this.
yeah, it'd be scary to come out here if you hadn't, you know.
Yeah.
All right, Kim, well,
Okay,
take care.
you too, Eric.
All right, so now I got to work my way up and over this ridge, and that's like basically the top up there. Man, this is absolutely just insane how impressive this is. And now I got to find my way around this rock face to continue along this ridgeline. Okay, I could probably make it down that ridgeline. Probably. All right, so I think I could work my way down here, and then it's a bit of a gamble. Okay, get that out of the way. This stuff's all limestone, super sharp. If I slip on this, I'm gonna get pretty cut up. Oh man, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to even just use your hands on this stuff. It's so sharp. Yeah, it's a little bit of exposure there. Kind of like a leap of faith here, really. I could slide my butt down this thing. It's gonna require a little finesse. All right, or at least work my way across this ridgeline, get down. So our horse trails have pretty much faded away, and we're left with this absolutely gorgeous, but really, really rough terrain. And just a while back, there was some rain falling in the valley, and I saw a bolt of lightning, so I kind of have to watch out for that today. But it's kind of the terrain I'm working with now. Really, really rocky, but just unlike anything else I've seen in Nevada, really. I'm trying to climb back up to the top of the ridgeline there, walk that for a little bit.
And looking out to the east is the Bonneville Salt Flats, a massive dried lake bed that covers about 30,000 acres.
Right where these mountains end, you kind of see where the mountains meet the salt flat. That's the Utah-Nevada border. If I can be honest, it's probably one of the most impressive places I've been along this whole route. If not one of the most obscure. The Goshute Range is a range that almost nobody talks about. There's very few pictures of it, very little info on it, and didn't really know what to expect. I know it's dry. It's very dry so far, but just absolutely awesome place to walk. Just a closer look at that cave. Not really in depth to it, so it's not really worth risking going down that chute to get to it. This is the slope I'm working my way around, and it's either that or go right up over the top. We made it around the worst of it. Get over this little ridge line here, should be back to decently stable ground. And right about there is a cave, which I didn't see until I started climbing this ridge line here. I'm climbing up to peak 8735 right now. It's a prominent peak that's basically been on my horizon to the south this whole hike so far. So it should be a pretty good view from the top, I'm assuming. And if you look right there, looks to be another small cave. Doesn't look very deep either. None of these look very deep, but I'll probably check that one out after I finish reaching the top.
and I'm beginning to wonder how such an incredible place can just fly under the radar. Never mind why, it's just great to know places like this still exist. This is what I came here for.
And man, Pilot Peak over there is just absolutely impressive, the way it just sticks up straight out of the desert like that. You know, no mountain range. It's just literally a volcanic looking, you know, it looks like Mount Rainier. I gotta say, the Goshutes do not disappoint. This is absolutely incredible. I mean, seriously, top-notch scenery. Look at this. This is like national park worthy on its own.
Vastness on this scale is difficult to comprehend.
Okay, so there's a cave over here on this hillside somewhere, but I got these hooves here and that pelvis, bit of a piece of jaw. This one's not very high and not very deep. Wow, okay, not much to it. Just about as close as I've gotten to a wild horse. And we saw probably 70 or 80 horses on the way in to the Goshutes today through Goshute Valley. So I've probably seen more horses today than almost the entire trip combined, really. So there's actually like 6 or 7 there. And this is pretty typical. Usually you don't just see one horse. They typically travel in herds of, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kind of getting funneled down here. I'm trying to work my way up here, and there's cliffs on one side and thick trees on the other side. I just heard the roar of thunder behind me. It's not really the place I want to be if it starts lightning again. Now I got a different problem. I'm bushwhacking through this stuff. There's a couple of horses up there. Let's see how close we can get. Now I'm on this ridgeline. I gotta walk this ridgeline for a little ways. And this is not the most clear. Usually ridgelines are a little bit easier to walk than this one. Not so thick and overgrown. Ah! Fuck! Branch just scraped my forehead. More limestone cliffs there. That's pretty nice. Ah! 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 Spider web. Oh, you know, I had a nice horse trail earlier. Now I get branches stabbing me in the face. fucking branches stab me in the fucking chest. God damn fucking bullshit. Oh, nice. A cliff. Perfect. Yeah, it's just I want to see. Got to work my way across this whole ridgeline here. So if it's going to be a bushwhack through more of the same stuff, it's going to be pretty gnarly. It's just a wall of vegetation here. I mean, come on, man. This wouldn't be such a problem if you got branches by your face. You know, if I had some gloves, I could break some of these branches a little easier without ripping up my hands. Okay, through one bush. Now like 5,000 to go. This is basically a cliff here, so I've got nowhere to go except for the ridge. The ridge is pretty rocky and pretty full of vegetation. It's kind of a horrible combination of both, really. For the moment, I've got a slight path to walk, but I know that's just going to end here in a minute. But at least I don't have to fight that thick brush on a knife edge. One battle at a time, please. Alright, so I'm going to avoid the knife edge, but I still have to work my way down this slope, down to that saddle. And it's not going to be easy either. Never any good options. This is not a, it's a fairly steep slope here, loose rock. So my little scree slope ended. Now it's back into the brush. Man, this is just awful. There's absolutely nowhere to go. No matter which way you go, you are basically breaking branches, crawling on the ground. Kind of a pick your poison kind of thing, but it doesn't even, there's really no benefit to going one way or the other. I mean, plus I can't even see ahead to what the terrain ahead of me looks like to help me make a decision. This is gonna be like a couple hour ordeal just to get down to this one saddle, a few hundred feet. Look at this.
This is all curl leaf mountain mahogany. This and the aspens make up some of the worst bushwhacking along the BRT. This is the kind of stuff that truly tests your fortitude, your sanity.
Everywhere you look around, you're just stuck, and it requires like just pain really to get through it. So I just spent an hour coming down from there, so like 200 feet. 200 feet in an hour. That's my pace. That's pretty disheartening. 200 feet an hour. Be lucky to get out of this shit in the dark. Bleeding everywhere. Really, I just want to get to that saddle. My goal was to go up and over that mountain tonight and get to the other side on the saddle on the other side and go down and get my water, but that's just not going to happen. You know, and the rest of the ridgeline is going to be like this. It's going to be a lot of thick trees, and I can't be hiking at 300 feet, 300 feet an hour. I just dislodged this boulder. I just stepped on this boulder here, slipped, and my arm fell here, and my foot kicked the boulder out. It just tumbled down the hill and took down a tree. This shit's getting old. So I just made it down from the saddle, and starting from the other side of that knob up there, it took me 2 hours to go just over a mile. My route has me going like right up over this, so you know that's not going to happen. Yeah, so now I'm going to contour around this hillside and aim for a spot in between here and here, so maybe right around there, and go up over and then follow the other side of this hillside, and that way I'll avoid going up and over all this nightmare. Fool me once, but you're not going to fool me twice, you know? And not doing that bushwhack twice. Well, I'm trying to contour around this hillside, and I knew there was going to be thick brush, but it's really not all that much better than what I was already dealing with before. Just kind of at my wit's end with this stuff, you know? This sucks. God damn, this sucks. Ah. Okay, I can go down here. All right, cool. Ow. Ah! All right, nice horse trail. Perfect. Nice horse trail. All right. All right, good deal. Just hoping there's a decent campsite somewhere up there. Maybe a cave. Nice cave. No rodents. Here's camp from last night. It definitely took me a while to set this one up. There was a lot of rocks in the way. Had to remove some sagebrush, and really took a lot of work to get anything resembling a flat spot that I could fit this tent. It was on quite a bit of a slant, and not the best campsite, but you know, like every night on the BRT, you make it work. I talk a lot about this, but I think it needs to be said again. You know, even a regular through hike is a bit of an emotional roller coaster, you know, a lot of ups and downs mentally. And yesterday was a perfect example of that. You know, started the day with my new friend Kim, and you know, we had a good day hiking, and honestly some of the best views on trail this whole route, you know, through Nevada. So it was a really great day, great start to the day, great start to the afternoon. And then just in a matter of an hour, it can go from the best day of your life to the worst day of your life. And that's kind of how it went with that bushwhack. It was just absolutely horrendous, and I'm really feeling it today. Just got tons of little scratches and cuts and stuff all over me. Got a nice cut here on on my forehead from a branch, and I have blood all over my air mattress from my little wounds on my legs, bleeding throughout the night. And you know, when you wake up every morning, you feel a lot better than you did the night before going to bed, but at the same time, you know in the back of your head, in all likelihood, today's going to be the same. You're going to have some good moments and some really, really bad moments. And that's just what wears on you after, you know, weeks and months on trail like this. So I'm about to round this corner here on this hill, and one thing that I think I'm gonna miss is the site of Pilot Peak over there. This whole area here just looks really mysterious and kind of primitive and primal to me. I'm on a pretty well-defined horse trail right now. You know, horses are only clearing this trail, you know, like 3-4 feet high, so I still have to duck, but it's an obvious path to follow. And other times it's just non-existent, you know. And so it makes this place so hard to navigate and move through, is that you don't know where these trails are going to be. None of these are on the map, so you just get out here and start trying to follow game trails, and it's really just a hit or miss kind of thing. Yeah, another horse. Yeah, and that's the saddle I've been shooting for, and on the other side of that is the Guzzler. Should be the Guzzler that I'm looking for. And that's basically my last and only water source that I'll come across along my route here in the Goshutes. All right, once again, it's decision time. And so now that I'm at the saddle where I need to make my decision, where I head downhill and get my water and continue on a low route, or continue on my high route. And there's a Guzzler down there about 400 feet. So if I get my water, my option is I can come back up here. My original plan was to head up this peak. Everything beyond Goshute Peak is going to be heavily wooded all the way down to Highway 93. It's going to be a ridge walk, it's going to be steep, and it's going to be wooded like that. So it's going to be probably quite a bit like my bushwhack from yesterday. You know, I hate to say it, but the realistic option is head down there, get my water from the Guzzler, follow this canyon out, and walk along the base of the Goshutes. And that would put me at about 20 miles to Highway 93. We could get to town tonight. All right, and there we are. There's my Guzzler. Guzzle, guzzle. And so now this is probably the fourth Guzzler I've come across in Nevada, and they've all pretty much been different. This one's completely different than the two in the Pequops, and then the one in the Grant Range. The water collects down here from the rainwater hitting this metal, like roof looking thing. It falls into this gutter, and then I believe it goes into a tank that is then piped over to this, they call it a drinker. And a common thing hunters do in Nevada here is they put these game cameras right on the Guzzler so they can see, you know, what's coming in to drink. Sometimes I've even seen hunting blinds, like in the Pequops, you'll have a hunting blind right there, which is totally unethical. This one says, right on the top, "Hello, I'm not hunting. College project, thanks." And you can see the green tint on this one, that's for sure. There's no hiding that. So that's not the greatest. So I better get guzzling before the bugs get it all, or something else dies in it. Yeah, look at the color of that. Just tell yourself it's lemon lime flavored. I'm all topped off with water. I took 5 liters from the Guzzler, and water that green takes a pretty heavy toll on my Sawyer filter. I had to back flush it twice, really, just to kind of keep it going. The water came out just as green as it went in. Yeah.
My buddy owns that Hot Creek Ranch. The town of Hot Creek is what he owns.
Okay.
It was an old stage stop. Cool as shit. And he owns that. He runs all them cattle over there.
Wait a minute. Is that the long long property that goes through Fish Creek, Little Fish Lake Valley.
You're from Michigan and you know
Fish-
this country better than I do.
There's Little Fish Lake Valley.
All right, get in there. Don't be shy, Dave. Fucking eat up.
What's your name?
Eric.
Eric, I'm Pat.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Brad.
Brad.
You're from Michigan?
Meet you.
Yeah.
So what possessed you to do this shit? Is this your first go around or on this, or have you done it before?
This is my first time in Nevada. Yeah.
What do you think of Nevada?
I'm sorry.
What do you think of Nevada?
I think it's
Pretty,
beautiful country. Yeah. It's just
A lot of mountains.
there's a lot more to it than you see from the road. And that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to come out.
From the
here.
roads, it kind of looks ugly, but you get up off the road is.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not bad until you have to do some bushwhacking.
No, I respect what you do, but
Yeah, why, right?
I don't even like f***ing driving that far.
Yeah, I hear you.
You ever eaten these? Pine nuts?
Yeah, actually I ate some the other day.
They're coming up. I've never ate them, Brad. I'm not native.
If you can find a good one, they're pretty good.
You're pretty hardcore, Eric. Nice to meet you.
So I was really surprised to see that truck full of hunters out scouting out at that Guzzler. I just didn't think the Goshutes really got any visitors at all, being such an obscure range. So I made it down to the valley. Now I'm in Goshute Valley. And pretty massive valley really to be walking through. Pretty desolate. No water.
Most of the time these basins are covered by sagebrush, but here it's this really nice golden grass. Easy to walk through, and something about it is just so calming.
This is marked on the map as Shafter Well number 4. Shafter is just the name of this area, probably the name of a rancher or something back in the day, but there's Shafter Well number 1, 2, 3, 4. Shafter Well has seen better days, that's for sure.
Looks like the people moved out and the animals moved in.
Escape room and telephone. Interesting signage. Got like a basement here. Oh. Yeah, really not much to see down here. You even got a nice sign here, Shafter Well number 4, but no water. Have a modern style spigot. That wall's on its way out for sure. It's the outhouse. We got a two-person outhouse. Two people can crap right next to each other. Okay, that's a feature. That is Goshute Peak, and I believe it's 96 or 9,700 feet, and that should be the high point of the range. And it's weird sometimes how valleys just kind of change, but this is Goshute Valley over here, and starting somewhere in this general region is Antelope Valley, which extends to the south. And I don't really see any reason why a valley would change names here. So anyways, I'm done with Goshute Valley and now walking Antelope Valley. And if I could sum up this area with two words, I would say empty and obscure. And even most of the locals here don't even venture into this area. You know, the guys I met earlier today, hunters, lived here their whole lives, never been here. Even Kevin the rancher that I was hiking with, and the Pequops, have only been over to the Goshutes, you know, he said maybe 4 times ever in 27 years, even though it's basically just on the other side of the valley from him. And there's a couple of caves right there, a couple of small caves. And, another small one right there. It's time to take a lunch break, and this tree is about the only thing around, so I think that makes the obvious choice. Woo! Woo! Man, talk about empty. What an amazing place to walk through. You know, earlier I was kind of disappointed in myself for, you know, not sticking to my plan and walking the ridgeline. But come on, I mean, this is gorgeous in itself. This is a really nice change of pace to just about every other valley I've walked through. This one has just like a special aura to it. Probably because of the lack of sagebrush. But man, what an awesome place to be. So Highway 93 is pretty desolate, and there's not a whole lot of traffic, so this hitch might take a little while. Oh, here comes a car. Better try my luck at hitching. So I got a hitch pretty quick on Highway 93. I'd say I waited about 20 or 30 minutes. He picked me up, drove me into West Wendover here, did my grocery shopping. So look, Wendover Will welcomes you to West Wendover. And then there's like a deer or an antelope. Yeah, it's an antelope.
And this is basically what I dream about while I'm hiking. So when I finally get into town, this is what I get: pizza, chicken wings.
And this is the Wendover Army Air Base. This is a pretty famous World War II military base, and its claim to fame is that the Enola Gay, the plane that dropped the first atomic bomb on Japan, was stationed here, housed here, and it flew out of here. This is where its mission originated. And today it's open as a museum for the public to walk through and see.
In the Nicolas Cage movie Con Air, The Wendover Air Base was used for the Lerner Airfield scenes. And this here is the Jailbird, the actual plane used in the movie.
Man, what a place to be. On the runway, the Wendover Army Air Base in Bonneville Salt Flats. There's rattlesnake number 2 under the rock there. I'm probably about 10 feet away.
Thanks for watching. I hope I've earned your subscription and a thumbs up. Visit basinandrangetrail.com for official maps and guidebook. Follow Seeking Lost on social media, and consider lending your support on Patreon if you would like to see more quality outdoor content.